Hey everybody, and welcome to the Q&A for Mindset Reset. I'm Cailen Ascher, and I want to first off thank you so much for being a part of these past 10 days. It has been such an honor to lead you through this Mindset Reset and introduce you to the experts that taught the master classes, and it's been such a beautiful experience. There's been, it's nearly 600 women that moved through it together, and I think there's just such power when we all come together in community and do this kind of work. So thank you first and foremost for your participation, for your insight, and for sharing what it's been like for you. I've loved checking in with the Facebook group and hearing your feedback about how this Mindset Reset is affecting you. So first, I want to just outline where we're going during our call today. I'm going to try to keep it to about 45 minutes. That said, I tend to be a strategic gal who moves through things quickly, so it might be a little shorter. I really, respect the time that you set aside to attend, so I'm going to try to keep it as concise but information laden as possible. So first, we're going to dive into the Q&A. And then from there, I want to share a little bit more about the True Success coaching that I'm offering. And then after that, I'm going to share two common myths about success that are likely holding you back. They were holding me back for so long. And I would love to just debunk those for you so you can move beyond them. But before we dive into all that, I want to share just a little bit more about me. So you have a sense of who I am, where I'm coming from, my backstory, all that good stuff. So as you know, I'm a clarity coach, which essentially means I get to be a change catalyst, which is really cool. And what I'm most interested in is helping entrepreneurial women get really clear on where they want their lives and their businesses to go, and then working with them to create a clear and thoughtful plan to get there. So I have a lot of clarity about what I want to be doing right now, but I wasn't always in that place. I had a number of successful businesses, or I shouldn't say successful, want to be successful businesses throughout my 20s. Some experienced moderate success, some not so much, but I was always seeking that. I was always after that success at the end of the rainbow and waiting to get there. And I was very lucky that I was raised in a household where we would regularly make dates to watch The Secret after Oprah had unveiled it back in the day. And we would all sit down and we would make vision boards and talk about this really important work that I'm understanding on a whole new level now. But the seeds were planted back then. But then I moved into my 20s. I started these businesses. I kept trying to find my thing. I would transition, I would tweak, I would reinvent. And what I was seeing as success, that my definition of it, it's always personal. It wasn't there for me. The financial piece wasn't there. The fulfillment wasn't there. The impact that I felt like I needed to make, I wanted to make, wasn't there. And so I kept searching. And it was actually after the birth of my daughter, Leona, who's about 16 months old now. It was after that I really saw that something needed to change. And if I wasn't going to be doing something that totally lit me up and was totally aligned with my passions and my purpose, then what was the point? What was the point? I should just be a mom to her and do my best at that, because none of these businesses that I had created were going anywhere. That was a really tough realization. It hit me pretty hard, and I felt really lost, and I felt really confused and really bummed out. But I kept doing the work. I kept showing up. I kept trying to see my way clear. And luckily, clarity hit me. It's literally like a bolt of lightning. It was a day in May, and it came to me. It was like, I need to rebrand, reposition. I was being a version of myself in my previous businesses, but I was never just being fully me. And I almost didn't know how to be, but when I had this sense of I need to be more me in my business, it was very clear that I needed to make coaching the forefront of what I was doing, that I really wanted to connect with my clients and be a part of their journey and their experience and impact them in a way that they could see transformation. Everything started everything started to shift. And I started noticing all these ways in my past businesses, in this past decade of business building, that I had been playing small and risking small, and therefore keeping this ceiling on myself and on my potential and what I could really do and create and contribute to the world. And I started noticing this inner dialogue that kept popping in, like, oh, you shouldn't buy that. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't say that. You don't have the money to work with that coach or to invest in that program. And I started realizing that this inner dialogue was such a huge piece of the lack of success, or at least the definition of success that I had been seeking. It was such a huge player. And when I started to notice that voice and work to shift it and really rely on myself and my abilities and seek out the support that I needed and be open to being supported in this journey, I no longer felt like this scrappy solopreneur trying to piece together this business, but I felt like a CEO. I felt like I was in charge of my life, of my business. I had a clear vision of where I was going. My mindset was in place, and I had a plan to get there. And so when I stopped getting in my own way and letting that worry and perceived lack and all that negativity that I wasn't even totally aware of for so long, when I stopped letting that stop me and started acting, feeling, and being successful, everything shifted. Everything changed for me. And when I function from that place, from the success right here, right now, delivering the best I possibly can and investing in things that I know will improve me and my business, everything just comes back to you and supports you. And the opportunities come and the clients come. And the more we embody the success that we desire, the more success and abundance comes to us. And it's this really amazing, amazing cycle. And that is what I want for you. And that's why I put together Mindset Reset. That's why I do the work I do with these amazing clients that I totally love. And that's why we're here today, to dive into some of these questions that came up over the last 10 days together, so we can make sure that the work that you've done really sticks, and that this is the turning point, and that this is the start of a new chapter, and there's no going back to the old stuff. So with that said, let's dive into the questions. So the first question we have: sometimes I feel like I'm lying to myself when I do my affirmations. How do I change that? Are they still working? Okay, great question. So first off, let's start with, do affirmations work? Yes, science actually proves that affirmations work. The number changes depending on what you read, but around 98% of our thoughts are on autoplay. They're on repeat. So the same ones come up again and again and again. And so if you were like me, like I was, and saying these things about lack or worry or making you feel anxious or stressed about your business, and that's the constant playlist in your head, it's not getting you anywhere that's closer to the success that you desire. But when we create some new thoughts, when we start planting those seeds for transformation with an affirmation, it can start to repattern those habitual thoughts, so that first of all, we just become more aware of them, and then we can start working with them. So we start saying positive things to ourselves, essentially. It comes down to being really simple. So yes, affirmations work, but let's go into the other piece. When you said, I feel like I'm lying to myself when I do my affirmations, how do I change that? So I think one of the best ways to work this is to just speak the truth of what you're feeling and then work into the affirmation. So let me give you an example. So let's say you're feeling really nervous or really anxious or really stressed or fearful. Literally say to yourself, you might not want to do it out loud depending where you are. You don't need to make this announcement to a room full of people, but say, I'm feeling really stressed out right now, or I'm feeling really angry, or whatever the truth is, say it. And then layer it with, but I know this to be true. Okay, I'm feeling really anxious right now, but what I know to be true is that I am capable and I show up and I do the work no matter what. And then add to it. And what I desire is to feel abundant, to feel successful, to feel important, to feel valued, whatever it is that you're truly desiring. And then seal the deal. Be like, and I know that I can get there. So just to move through that again, like, I am feeling so stressed out right now, but I know that I can handle this and I'm capable of getting through it. And what I really desire to feel is confident and clear, and I know that I can get there. And so it becomes this like little pep talk that you give yourself rather than just stating these flatline affirmations of like, I am successful, I feel happy right now, when you totally don't. That's not the point of an affirmation. It's to make you feel differently. And so I find these little pep talks actually help you to feel that, which is kind of the point. All right, so I think we covered that one. Let's move on to the next question. How do you deal with days when your mindset is in a not so great space without getting down on yourself and spiraling? So I think the first thing to do is to notice that there are thoughts that you're having. You are not this negative spiral. You are not this negative energy that's inhabiting your mind or your body or wherever you're feeling it. They're thoughts. They're separate from you. So that's the first step. It's to create that space of like, oh, these are thoughts. I don't want these thoughts. I'm not feeling so great about that. Another thing you can do, kind of like what we said in the previous one, is to speak your truth. To say like, oh wow, I am really spiraling out of control right now with like negativity or worry, and move through that. Sometimes another thing that I find helpful is to make a physical change. Like if you're sitting at your computer being totally overwhelmed by a project or by emails or whatever it is that's like getting to you, like get up from your computer, walk away, take a couple deep breaths. If you have the time, like maybe go for a walk, like move this energy physically. If you are maybe really rushing through all your errands and you're driving around doing the grocery shopping, or you're at home doing the laundry, cleaning the house, and you're feeling like anxious and rushed, stop, make a physical change. And sometimes that is a really good way to interrupt that spiral and shift it. And there's a couple different tactics I just mentioned. You can do a mix, you can try one, and just see what works for you. Some different things work for different people. Some people need that physical change. Other people can do that like self-talk off the ledge. Play with them. And I think that's the most important thing, is to just remember to play with this stuff. Like have fun with it. That's the point. It's not to like belabor these tools or beat yourself up if you feel like you're not doing it right. That doesn't serve anything either. Alrighty, on to the next one. How do you incorporate mindset work into your day? Ooh, this is fun. Is it at the same time each day, or is it more on an as-needed basis? Okay, so it's a little bit of both. I usually start my day with a 15 to 20 minute meditation. That feels really good for me. I'm a morning person, so those like dark, quiet morning hours are just so lovely when everything's quiet in my house and in the world. That really feels like me time. I think it's important to identify if you're a morning person or a night person, because finding those quiet, dark hours, I feel like for me, are a really powerful time to do this mindset work. So that's just my 2 cents. After my meditation, I do some kind of exercise. It normally involves me like kind of dancing around my house, jumping around, doing some yoga, like just moving my body. It's not formal, it's not structured. And while I do that, I usually am listening to something that is going to hopefully inspire me. It might be a really great interview with some thought leaders that I admire, or maybe a podcast that I think will kind of like set that like spark of inspiration for the day. that works really well for me, kind of like layering it on top of what I'm doing in the morning. I'm really fortunate that the work that I do, I get to kind of delve into this stuff on a daily basis. So that's really helpful for me. I would imagine a lot of you watching are in service-based businesses that maybe have a mindset component in some regard, because as healers, as coaches, as really like heart-centered business women, I think the mindset piece is something that we find coming up again and again. And so it can be kind of woven throughout your day. And then we get this opportunity to practice what we preach and preach what we practice, and really just work with it on a daily basis. So then at the end of my day usually comes to a close probably early compared to some people, around like 8 o'clock. I generally head upstairs and I get in my PJs and I get all cozy in bed and I read. I always have a huge stack of books on my bedside table. I love books. I still have not been able to embrace e-readers of any sort. There's something about holding a physical book that I just need. And I give myself that time. Sometimes I do a little journaling, sometimes not. It kind of depends on the day. But I kind of bookend my days with, the meditation and the yoga exercise, listening to something inspirational in the morning, and then the quiet, like reading, journaling in the evening. And I find that works really well for me. Alrighty, next question. How much time do you suggest that I spend on mindset work each day? Another great question. So I would say if it's new for you, start small. I would not recommend that you do what I do in a day, because this is after like years and years of warming up to this stuff. Start with something really small that you can wrap your head around, like even if it's just 5 minutes of quiet. I think starting with just quiet, and you don't have to call it meditation if that's like not your thing, or visualization or whatever, but just quiet me time where you're not going to be disturbed, where you can just sit and take some deep breaths. That starts opening up space for us to notice what our habitual thoughts are, because we have to start there. If we're not noticing what we're thinking, if we're not aware of what that constant dialogue is, we're not going to be able to effectively change it. So starting with it really simple, just 5 minutes, sitting, deep breath. As thoughts roll in, just notice, without any judgment, let them roll through. It's a really basic mindfulness practice. I think that's a really good place to start. And then another thing you can do if it's new is to layer it into your day. Like, get some really great books on books. I'm supposed to say books on tape, but that's not really what they are anymore. You like download them on your iPhone, but listen to audiobooks and listen to them when you're at the gym or going for a walk or doing your exercise like I do, or driving around in your car. Like, that's something that I have found, is that I can find like enjoyable me time, like driving to and from the grocery store, if I'm listening to something that really is like getting me like all lit up inside. So see what ways you can just layer it into your day without feeling like you have to carve out these chunks of time. All right, next question. Do you have other suggested books, resources, blogs, meditations to keep up the high vibe momentum going that I've gained during the reset? Oh my goodness, there are so many. I love my books. So here, I wrote some down, so I make sure I get the titles and the authors for you guys. So surprise, surprise, Danielle Laporte is like at the top of my list right now. If you've been in the Facebook group like at all over the last couple weeks, you know that we have been talking about her a lot. The Desire Map is amazing. It's a book and a workbook, and it's transformational. I highly recommend every single one of you out there take a look at it. Get yourself a copy, move through it. It's a beautiful book. Like, it's just like a beautifully like laid out book, beautifully written book. It's very elegant, and like you'll love having it sit on your bedside table, but the content is so rich. Highly recommend it. So some others, The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. That's a really great one. That's one I recommend to a lot of my clients. How Rich People Think. That's one I'm reading right now. It's by Steve Siebold. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. Not a pretty book. It's not pretty like The Desire Map, but it has really great content. What are some others? Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. That's beautiful. I mean, if you have any hesitation, any fear, any worry about bringing your creativity, your genius out into the world, that is a must read. Another great one is Playing Big by Tara Moore. She is I think a women's leadership coach and motivational speaker of sorts. She has some really, really great stuff in that book about how to basically become like the leading lady of your own life and make the impact that you're supposed to make here on this planet. So that one's a really good one too. So there's a lot of books for you. I always enjoy Marie Forleo's interviews, the content she puts out there. Marie TV is really great. The episodes tend to be like short and sweet, from like 5 to 20 minutes. So they're perfect like little shot in the arm of motivation. Right now, Danielle Laporte is running her Fire Starter Sessions, which is this free program that you can sign up for, and you get daily audios from her for, I'm not sure how long it is, maybe 21 days. Again, really, really rich content, great stuff. And the last piece, what you ask? Oh, meditations. One of the meditations I'm really enjoying right now is focusing on like a feeling word that I want to feel in my life. So something that might be interesting for you is, I think a lot of us here would say we want to be successful. For each of us, success is a very different thing. There's a lot of feelings under that. So for me, one of the feelings of success is feeling expansive. And then, so I'll sit in the morning in the quiet and bring that term to mind, expansive, and breathe and like feel it and see if there's almost like a physical component to it. And then just kind of run through like free flow with it. Like expansive feels abundant. Expansive feels energizing. Expansive feels influential. Expansive feels affluent. Expansive feels helpful. Expansive feels generous. And I just go with it. And it really gets me resonating with the actual feeling of expansiveness. And so this is another good thing about going back about like if your affirmations feel like a lie because you don't feel it, doing this kind of work, affirmations or this kind of like word journey in your meditation can be a really great way to feel how you want to feel and then start your day from that place. So I think that wraps up that question. Let's get another one. Okay, I think timing-wise, this might be the last one. So I can be a bit of a worrier at times. Any mindset tips or tricks on how to break out of that cycle once it starts? Okay, so me too. I think this is a common thing for women, that we are like chronic worriers because we take so much on. It's like we're worrying about, not so much about ourselves, but like about our husbands and our kids and our businesses and house and our friends and our parents, and like we just worry. But the thing that I find most helpful, because I'm a very logical person, that despite all this stuff about like mindset and everything, like the reason I like this stuff is because I find the strategy in it. And so for me, it always helps to remember that worrying in and of itself doesn't solve anything. Like sitting there ruminating about something isn't going to solve the problem. If there even is a problem to solve, maybe the worry is just creating this problem. The only thing that solves a problem is action. So if you're worrying about something that needs to have action taken around it, instead focus on the actions you can take, the proactive things you can put in place to change that. It's a much more beneficial way to use that energetic space that mental capacity is to channel that worry energy into something productive. Like, okay, I'm really concerned about this right now. This is taking up a lot of mental space in worry land. Let's move that over to, okay, this is feeling really uncomfortable because of X, Y, Z. I think doing this will help. And then try doing that. The other kind of worry is something that we really don't have control over. We're worrying about something that might happen, that happened before, and the worry's not serving anything. And so something that I find helpful, again, it's kind of like doing a dialogue with yourself of like, this is something I find that comes up a lot with some of my clients, that they'll say something along the lines of like, oh, I have to worry about money. And I'll ask them why. They're like, well, I'm not making enough. I don't have enough clients, or I haven't sold enough of what I'm hoping to sell. Like, okay, but why do you have to worry about money? Like, what is the worry solving? And sometimes just asking yourself that question interrupts the worry, and you're kind of like, oh, yeah, the worry isn't solving anything, and I don't have to worry. I'm essentially choosing to worry, which is pretty much like meditating and focusing all my energy on the stuff I don't want. And you can kind of logic your way out of it. I personally find that really helpful, of like, oh my gosh, I'm so like in this space of worry right now, but worry doesn't solve anything. Is there something I can do about this? Yes? Okay, maybe I should just do that and get that out of the way. I should just send that email or make that phone call or work on that thing for 15 minutes to get it out of the way, and then I can stop worrying about it. Or, no, there's nothing I can do. Okay, moving on. Leave that to the sidelines. The worry, will be there, like trying to maybe peck its way back in, but you can just set it to the side of like, yes, I acknowledge that I feel like I need to worry about this, but I don't need to, because the worry is not solving anything, and I choose to focus on something else. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you for those amazing questions. They were all so insightful, and I think they really helped to round out some of the discussions and the tools and things that we worked through this past week and a half. So thank you for that. So I had mentioned at the beginning of the call that I wanted to share with you 2 common myths about success that I think a lot of us live with on a daily basis, that I want to debunk today, because they are so detrimental to our happiness and our level of fulfillment and the growth of our businesses. But before I do that, I want to first tell you guys more about my True Success coaching program. I've had some questions about that as well over the last 10 days, and so I wanted to answer those questions here on our call so you have that information. So my True Success coaching program is a 5-month program. It's one-on-one coaching with me, and it's opening for enrollment today. This is the official announcement. And what I'm most interested in, as I said before, is helping entrepreneurial women get really, really clear on what they desire in their lives and their businesses, and then creating a clear and thoughtful plan of action to get them there. So it's coupling that, the mindset, the vision, that energetic component of the success we desire with an actual strategic plan, because we need both. For me, there are 3 pieces that true success stems from. And that's the vision, the mindset, and the plan. So let me break those down a little bit more for you so you have a sense of what I'm talking about here. So the vision it's that destination piece. It's like, I see myself doing this, serving those people, going there, being that woman. It's like the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It's the light at the end of the tunnel. It's that magnetic force that is pulling you forward in your business, even on those dark days. That is the vision. So we want to sharpen that. We want to hone that. We want to get really clear on how you want to feel when you arrive there, so we can start bringing that out and bringing that vision closer and closer, more into the forefront. The second piece is the mindset. Really important, obviously, the whole mindset reset. The last 10 days, we've been focusing on this one element of my coaching. Your mindset's your vehicle. It's what carries you around literally in your life. Your body, like where you spend your time between your ears, that's your vehicle. It's what gets you there. And so we can get to our destination, to our vision, in a souped up luxury vehicle, or we can be, slowly going in our beat up pickup truck. I know what I would prefer. I'm a girl who likes efficiency. I try to get the most out of my time and really channel my energy in the most effective ways. And so the mindset piece is that. It's what streamlines the process and lets us enjoy the journey. I mean, that's really such a big piece of it, and something that I think we have to remember, that success, as much as it might feel like a destination, it really is the whole journey to get there, because we can't bring about something that we're not feeling and experiencing on the journey. It has to be part of it. To get that result, it has to be part of what goes into it. And the last piece is the plan. The plan is like your roadmap. So we've got that vision, that destination, we've got our vehicle, our mindset, and then the plan is that map that gets you there. And this piece of the coaching is the strategy piece. I'm a note taker. I am an outline creator. I am, let's break it down step by step kind of person. And so this is where, to keep going with that car analogy, like the rubber meets the road, right? It's where all that feeling, that knowing, that intuition of vision and mindset gets pushed, and I shouldn't say pushed, channeled into something really effective that can move you forward towards the success that you desire. And like I said, success is a really personal thing, and that's something we're going to do. We're going to define what success means for you so you can start feeling successful right now. So that's kind of an overview of the curriculum of those 5 months. I want to give you a little bit more about the details of the actual experience. So we would start with a 90-minute deep dive. This will kind of set our trajectory, our intentions for our 5 months together. And then over the course of 5 months, we are going to sit down every other week. So for 10 sessions, we are going to sit down on a bi-weekly basis and work through those pieces. Start with the vision, move into the mindset, and then the remainder is going to be on those strategic plans to move you forward in your business, in your life, in ways that feel completely authentic and really good. And the amazing thing is that all throughout this time, you have that support and accountability. You have email access to me. So we can really see the results in real time as we're co-creating this new chapter in your life and in your business. I'm only taking on 8 to 10 clients, and this only opens twice a year. Because it's a 5-month program, I like to have my women move through it at the same time. It helps me as your coach to be kind of moving through the paces concurrently with everyone. And so the coaching would start in late February, early March, and then move through July. And like I said, I'm only taking on 8 to 10 women because I really want to get to know you and your business. I want to feel your vision. I'm going to be on board with that. We're going to be doing this together every step of the way. And just like you are probably really selective and would be really, really choosy on who you'd want to move through this with, to be your coach, I'm doing that on my end because I want to make sure I'm bringing in the clients that I know I can get results for, that I totally believe in what they're doing, and that we can create something amazing in our time together. So that's the overview of that True Success coaching program. I'm opening up, like I said, those 8 to 10 spots. And if you're interested in talking to me more about that, I invite you to book a complimentary consultation. It's 30 minutes. It'll give you a sense of my coaching. We'll see how we work together, and that's the starting place. And if it's the right time and we're the right fit, then we'll move forward from there. So with that said, I want to share those final two myths about success that I think might be present in your life, and I'm ready to debunk them. So myth number one, this is such a big one, is that success is all about money. This is so not true. Success is about a way that you want to feel. Okay, so let me say that again. Success is not about money. It's about a way you want to feel. And for each of us, success has a different flavor. For some, success might feel like generosity and confidence. For someone else, it might feel like affluence and influence. For someone else, it might feel like love. We all have a different definition, a different feeling component of what success, that, like I was saying, that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is going to feel like for us. And it's really important to know what we're hoping to feel like when we're successful, because we can start feeling that way right now. We can start putting things in place right now as we work together, or as you work on this on your own, to feel that way immediately. And it's really cool because when you start feeling that way now, when you start embodying the success that you desire, it starts this cycle and things come into your life that bolster you up and make you feel more successful. And it keeps going that way. It's this upward spiral. So that's myth number one. Success is not just about money. Yes, it might have a financial component. It often does. Money is something that we have to deal with in our lives, but it's not so intertwined and wrapped up that you can't feel successful unless you have money. Total myth. Myth number two, asking for help or support is a sign of weakness. Totally not true. Totally not true. And I think a lot of us, we think, oh, well, if I ask for help, it means I'm not capable enough or smart enough or talented enough, or asking for someone to support me is bad, or it's not worth it. I should just do it myself. Asking for what you need is a sign of strength. So asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It is truly a sign of strength. I actually just wrote a blog post all about this. The thing is that when we focus on our strengths, we can expand into them. When we put more of our time and energy into the things we're really good at, we get even better at them, and then we're able to help people even more. I think a lot of our businesses, I was mentioning before, a lot of us are coaches, service providers, we're wellness practitioners, and we're in the business of supporting other people, of serving other people. And yet, so many of us, I was in this camp completely, we don't allow ourselves to be supported. We don't ask our husband for help. We don't hire that coach that we need. We don't enroll in that program. We don't start the mastermind. We don't, ask our girlfriends to listen to us instead of us listening to them. We don't ask for what we need because we think we're going to be a bother, or that it's a sign of weakness, or that we don't have it all pulled together. Well, first of all, nobody does. And when you allow yourself to be supported, you create space in your life for what you love, for what you're really good at, and you can serve in such a more powerful and impactful and bigger way. So I really encourage you, if either or both of these myths are present in your life, to just take some time to think about what I said and notice if you're ready to let them fall by the wayside and embrace the truth of what success and what support really are for you. So I think with that, we're nearing the end of our time together here. Oh, we're right on track too. We've gone about 40 minutes. So I will wrap this up because I promised you that 45-minute mark. So I just want to say that if what we discussed today, if the past 10 days are resonating with you, are calling to you, and if support and if coaching is what you think you might need at this time, if that's the right next step for you, below this video on the page, you'll see that there's a gold button that says free clarity consultations. And what you'll get when you click on that is access to an application so that you can set up a time for a 30-minute session with me. And what we're going to do during those 30 minutes is basically get to know one another, because before we do any work, whether that be for 1 hour or 5 months, I think it's really important that we know one another, have a sense of who the other one is, and I really want to know what your big vision is, what your business is about, what you're passionate about, and also what's keeping you from getting there, so I can have a sense if my coaching and my style of coaching is right for you. During those 30 minutes, I'm also going to make sure that you get some clarity right now. Like, it's going to be a little micro coaching session. You're going to leave with a problem solved, with a mindset shift, with a piece of advice. You're going to leave with something that is going to help you make a change in your life, in your business right now. That is my goal on these calls, more than anything else, is that you leave feeling better. You know, we've been talking a lot about feeling on this call and throughout the last 10 days. My ultimate goal during our 30 minutes together is that you leave with a bit more clarity, a bit more of a plan, knowing the next step, some motivation, some inspiration, something that is going to help you make the change you're desiring to make. And lastly, like I said, we're going to see how we work together, if our personalities jive, and if now is the right time to work together, if we're feeling that it is. So I am clearing my schedule over the next few weeks just for these calls, just for these 30-minute micro coaching sessions, so that I can help you implement the tools that we've been discussing throughout the Mindset Reset, the tools that we talked about today, and to help you transition into this next chapter and play bigger and live bigger and deliver more of your genius into the world. So the next step, if that is calling to you, if you're saying like, yes, this feels like I want to take that next step, the next step is to click the button below, fill out the form, we'll set up a time to talk, and we'll take it from there. And whether or not we work together, I will be excited to hear more about you and your business and to help you in any way that I can, because I want to be your support, whether that is just on this call, whether that is on a 30-minute consultation, or whether that is during 5 months of true success together. So thank you so, so much for being a part of the Mindset Reset, for joining me here today. It is my honor to be in community with all of you, and I thank you so, so much for being a part of my life. Take care.